Ebusiam nim sa wonte ya na de aba from Kumasi High Court ne say lumba nkomo twetwe na ye di ho nkomo no ene ye se judge say e ma ne nyina enkotena eyipa so enkosu lumba sa oyere e ma ne mienu nyina ye se judge say German certificate na wo de baaye no signature wo so no e ba akope na aware so de marriage certificate signature say ye mienu enti wono no wasusu ho adwene ho wo mmien na nkotena yipa so judgment ba wo case mu a utumi kire wadwene ho when asem wo court you cannot but judgment ba nko ade a obetimi a kire wadwene. I don't seem to understand if a judge or a judge now you don't trust the certificate that is from another country to be a marriage certificate. You allow or you rule say nipa no awunyi ni say o wa ware asa na ya ware no onko yekuna. I say this with no malice. Me kire ma dwen kwa. Se wu wakumem na wo ye judge na wakan ade na hwe na onim certificate marriage certificate mpa me ne san na wo hu ye no sa according to omo e court ni bi na e kasa yi wo hu ye no ba ko signature ba ko pe na wo so na eye wo certificate ni nya papa. I don't see why you would then say omkwatena senye kuna unless say you say busuafo ni nyina agitum sa Akosua Serwaa ye yere dia e wo fia ware dia omie no ntinase enye kuna because Ghana ye gitum se wo ware wo fie na kwa court because e fia ware kwa lo court na o ma ban hu si ya ware wo fie a dio be man ntumi ensan ko ware bi nka ho. If it's recognized that you are legally married and I say yawari wo fia e ho nsem ne kan ye different kakra ne kan no e sonko ba ya gitum ya mamre mu se wo wari wo fia utumi wari bi ka ho ya mamre kwan so ya gitum se wo wari wo fia utumi wari bi ka ho ba se wo ko wari wo court a wuntumi en wari bi nka ho ko ko ye ne sa pe ne wato court mra court no ubedi. But the judgment that came out even before the judgment came out, according to omo court no obia o court obia na court room obia ndo do na ye pam mo free court room so mo bi abonte. For whatever reason I don't know. I don't seem to understand. I'm just confused. And you see, it makes no sense if really you see one certificate and as a certificate that has just one signature. I think you could have gone further to look for a legal person who is a German lawyer. As a judge, you can call for a German lawyer or somebody from the embassy to verify the certificate. If wadwen yen tanta. Because we knew me and I go Germany that and as me ma Germany that. But yen worry wo Germany that. I don't know whether the judge has married a German burger before or something, I can't tell. But so what do you on tanta na feel say certificate what do you on tanta na eya say certificate nipa nde buy no sa certificate no en saba akope na hyase enti wunyi ni say sansa na ye ba akope no your original certificate there. The next level of action is to call in somebody from the German embassy to interpret or even get the certificate to the German embassy to interpret whether the certificate is genuine or not. Because there's a German kasa na certificate ne washo. You could have asked them to interpret what that certificate is about so that ye ni nyina beba bontim ye hu so certificate no fake and na say nye fake ne fia ware e na wo ho because fia ware ye ngu no o ti dem da ase pa o ti dem me pa che na se. Let's you see we be precedence so ntisi ya nye ni ye ni anhwe ni ye ni anka asem ni ye a ebetimi akowie bone amobia uti obi a waware bia no hyene nso we fa Odo Broni anasa Akosua Serwaa ho we court case I dawa nei obi enya issue bi say otam de court a lawyer betimi agina no so so case Akosua Serwaa versus president Odo Broni case say na judge dey and found say lumba popular enti na bia judge na gina so aka say mempe ne totoro ne no anti ana mpanyimfo bia bamti ene yenye ne say it doesn't matter. It becomes a precedence. So let's watch what we do and how we do our things here in Ghana. Charlie, it becomes a precedence and found and nipa no oye kwahwe abakora no a na asem bi say ba obema lawyer court you sue and cite that as an example. It becomes a precedent, so we should be careful about it. Me chirama dwe me say judgment ba wo tumi chira wadwe e wo court wa wo chira wadwe ne yi na mom judgment ba dia wo chira wadwe yi. I'm legally married as well, and this is not my first marriage legally. Second one ye gunu wa court uti de mechen enti se nei me certificate Ghana certificate no signatures so by yanware minu mienu mo amu Germany. You can come out and say mo ware wo Germany a certificate ni nipa mienu na sign na baako. We want to know. We have to interrogate this matter. And we'll go deep into it. I will find a way to get somebody in Germany to explain to us how worry was Germany, because it sounds like Akosua Serwaa worry and krata 70. And this is not it happens. A lot of people go through this. In fact, at the crime and the same thing. And sometimes your husband or wife can even encourage you to do that, and later, because of unkwala, you get enkrata for unkwala. Later, no, ebi ono kra be covered by it. What I say? I'm a bit confused. She did not play her role as a wife. I don't know what you mean by she didn't play a role. What ya broche no to find that you understand some of these issues. What ya broche na wa ware pay so a what ya say? Se be ma say o ye adwamanfo. Na o ye yire na o tia ware ho. Na be ma so ye adwamanfo. Obefiri ni yire chi akoba bi fufura. Wo yesa wo kofie ho kra akotena se atena wa ware ho kra ye man kwan. Enso no on pene mari nya o. Wo hia be ma oye kononwo kaya. Ono a wontene no ho ware wo. Na sade ye so ye wo fie no wonye. Ono so a wo makwan ma wonko. Wo hia bi da check and ask. There are some men who are konongo kaya on pe. Anasa watena wabre. But say binti o man kwan ma wonko. I'm not saying Lumba is konongo kaya. Wo wa sama dia banti na mesumechire maju. Or say I'm legally married and I live in America with my husband. Yes. And to be honest with you, say nipa na wo ware no say wo ware no not Ghana. Ena wo ba Ghana na say makopia brochi na mo ba Ghana no so ma bi o ma a different conversation. Do my free muntie to me nchire. The only person who can really tell the real story is the dead man, who didn't like talking about his issues. Enti na hu be here sometimes I see a document some of these things. And then the living wife. But ono kra na otiase no betime di ntro. Enti wo mu mienu na nka ayefe ne kana ya ni kasem. Ba abroche wontumi nya adwuma nsore preko pe one day nkase meko leave anase me kunawu. Wo betime age some days off say year. Ba wontumi nsore keke embetna Ghana se wo ye adwuma na wo ni obi ye adwuma. Ne ya ma kwan se betna Ghana bosume mienu miensa. Ansa ye dano kraso. Ba Ghana hade Ghana po ye ma kwan sa. You will not be given that much days and months to come and stay with ebusia and ebusia fie se ukuna wunti ubedi kuna. Ghana po adwuma company bia no e be ma kwan se tina fie bosume because ukuna frim. They would give you time to mourn your husband, but you will not be given 2 months to stay at home just because your husband is dead. Say dwuma nya wo de a. Intimacy ye kasa ye ni anwene ho ye. So won't gwanda komo aye gba wonti ase. You cannot just get up. You can't. Agana uye adwuma. Sometimes you have 30 days leave, sometimes 25 days. Me that's 25 days leave the whole year. Ye mu bi to me chichem. Anything else should said doctor's report can be e de ba so yare. Bibi na ye wontia. Anything else Doctor's report must be added to it. So you cannot just get up one day and say because of this, you are just leaving whatever you are doing and coming on. Let's say so jaya jumana betene fie. Na se bibi twen woda so a ebe o se nipa no be jaya ba betene fie. It's not easy like that. Enough from me call America, me call high dine. Me kreska meant me a high dine on my own. Ghana, oba na person hide down free Cuba, America, ehemfa, de ehia ne so ho agent, e dai bi wo ho. Ukreska nkwa de abetimi a hide. Background check papa bi enu ha. We don't do any bad whether you have credit or not, whether you are legitimate or what the kind of job awo ye wo Ghana, obi an check it. De ehia so ukreska, ye ka say 1 year, 2 years sense kan kura wanti na Nigeria for bi, 2 year wo baby papa ayese yetna. Into the rent in Kraha, ne boye because Nigerians come in, they have the money and they are able to rent anytime and anywhere they want. Anywhere. Lebanese for ba more rented dine. China ni ba or rented dine. Me kwa America meant to me, it's not like sike krami. Me se met me a training no, me say no. You cannot. Just mean to me cry and 3 months in boom. Say me 3 months because me bagana and me 3 months. Debbie, I can't do that. I have to pay in installments, not installments, monthly. Me kwa say me koto money order. A day, who are limits. You cannot just buy money order boom like that. You can't. But I could do that. I could have done that. I was Ghana. And to obiana ne shisha no obiana ne mra. So let me tell you, my issue is I am teasing the issues out of the judgment. I am just teasing the issues. From day one, I said, omo ye 1 week ni mani ye fe. Omo ye ni na see ye ne fe. But 1 week I had issues with it because some people or a lot of the people made it look like Akosua Serwaa didn't matter. Maybe she's a stranger. She came from nowhere. Eno waba betom. Omo eto nyumo aduafo wan apart from adua ye boeje. Aduafo enyumtufo Ghana fo bio because and you can't blame all of them because maame no so na nipa na lumba ware na cha kuti abrochire obi enim no. And when it happens like that, yetumi kan hye because nipa no nim onto me match ya like onto me treat too say oh yeah some way somehow onimo uti de mechi enti de otonwumo de obonwumo de omo say so the woman felt left out. The next thing she knew she say yeah mo na mane ya actual letter say okra uti na ye so udi bambia wo manintia. That struck the camel's back. According to Obono, brought about this whole matter. Yes, nka bibie ni ho. So dem nka bibie ni ho. Nti me de enka omi ni na atena se eyi paso, eyi anka nya bad. So o wari omu na legitimate girl. Sometimes never be all cry but because the most important na Japade. That is where the whole thing could hu here. But me de bia meka to le bia obo bread baby a obi Japade wani nye ho. Emfa won se ukuru no. Because so obo bra na wo ye ode a ye twe ba ko ho dare a e bia obetwe manasai. But won twe because you don't have it until kope bi. Enti en na ye mpa adwumanye. Ye mpa bibi man ho. What did they make you say? A Japade so se be oba na ya be ma mo mu chefa. It's not just one way. Oba na ya be ma eso wo a Japade mu chefa. It's sad. Like I don't know. I just want I think more details should come out so we all understand the whole issue. That certificate in legitimate na mum or jifie de netum because abusuafo na ni Akosua Serwaa. Enti so jifie de netum a na oba Odo Broni so yesi aware wo fie a according to report no how who and who because according to omo ekwa court no apart from abusuape yin kwa ka say waware no kwa anko bi. It looked like nobody was there to actually testify there was a marriage like that. Busuapenyin never testify, but Busuapenyin or testify, you know. Wan Kobi or say yes, say because Busuapenyin from day one said Odo Broni. What did the say? I am saying, sir, we could give if we decide to give judgment because of the person's fame, and nipa no din bi or what and answer and sebi na baby. It will not help because it will serve as a precedence. Better ho. Issues like this, near the no be susudua. Near the no eddy and seme buansen. Me name say be on court to seek for an appeal. But I'm believing, say, if there was a legal marriage, our document in your correct. I mean, we need to know whether the document is genuine or not. It's very important. So that we all understand each other, knowing, say, document a cranny panel, nye papa no de koye. Say, beya, certificate a yen na wono, ye be say certificate fast also. Yes, our certificate ne cry yin ye better team. Then there's no need to have a certificate at all. And it doesn't matter as any parent baby, ni kunu baby nti, awari ni ho, minim sad no. Because people can actually marry and decide to live different places because of Ejuma, because of Niema Bebre. And meet as and when they want to meet. As and when they want to meet. Depending on the marriage couple. How they decide to live their marriage life is their business. And if our really hope you might koko gunu chucham at the certificate, divorce certificate, they call fire no, and now letter. Yemfa letter kekese me pese me die aware ye the divorce certificate na kotre e bia dance ye say aware no ye ko twa mu court a ya ma ye certificate any. Do you understand? Ye the divorce certificate ko ya kotre se ye twa mu court any. Enye sa wo ye judge a wo tumi ntina ho keke nkase nipa no we fi aware ase for some time nti na aware da go. I don't seem to get it. Papa. That's why I'm saying the judgment must come out for us to understand exactly what went the reasoning, because you can criticize or share your opinion about judgments, which is legally right. Because yet to Kroma no be quiet judgment we are say was he a binum same rado SCB. We are animal farm. Emma Attorney General, Ghana's Attorney General, Bible, and Tebe condemn me and said, no, this judgment is not correct. Although Nipa na can ask no so, shouldn't buy or done, it wasn't right. Which I understand. Ye can't what them say ye nyepe. Because me the president nyepe. Me to me the first lady. Minister be nyepe. Me to me the sofu penny be say at Duncan William and nyepe. But before the eyes of the law, we are all equal and must be treated equally. Since Duncan William, we must be treated equally and found ways of opinion in front of the law. Although, ma, please, embassy to verify it. Did they consult? That is my question I asked. If you were confused about the certificate, did you find out? Because there's a German embassy here, right here in Ghana. And just as Ghana, Ukawaria, AMA, and answer call to Niadiano, there's always documentation that you can always follow up and find out if really it has been gazetted or if really it has been like, the certificate. Because a bit to me for this certificate. Yes, oh yeah, a bit for this certificate. But baby also a worry, you know. Uko, whether marriage or divorce, uko, register wo mu book mu say, osimesi be worry ha. Because yet certificate mawa, part of it eka book mu. They don't tear everything out. They leave some into that book is unless I wanna share. Now that document is gone because I had a paper same one. It's sad. Like that's all I want. Like it's sad. Because one sheni year. Niya sheni year, niya nkani found to be a day year. As I said, for me, I feel so both of them deserve to do a kuna. Although I don't believe in side chick. I mean, can say we be a me no case me found. I know it matter. I just feel so oba to be kunu dear sene fataneje. And try manipulating frame now kokon tokwa. You have no right there. Who need right to be our home? Oba to be kunu behave like me but to be kunu. And found also na wunsia because look. Obata no ho na no wunsia kora no a. Wonya warefo. Difference home. Unless say and they minim semra or cohabitation, which meaning parents now for some time cohabitation legally, but not when somebody is legally married. Not when somebody is actually legally married with certificate. Enti Monday, nyame ya adumwa Odomdum ya ini na ebedi hu nkomo. We would want to find out from lawyers. We would want to find out from Germany. Find out how a German marriage certificate looks like. If there was any determination of a divorce, we should see the certificate of a married divorce in Germany. And ye come some court. Now wo tia broche na wo mam pacho. Brempoma. Judge a lawyer the need na man. All those here friend many begina dakem. Lawyer the need na man. We probably don't even know the situation. Let's be mindful. And I think say both busuafo no and I say parties no should not jubilate to get another angry. It's not necessary. It's not necessary. It is not necessary. Because so be better me say I want to move court that comment too is quite dangerous. It makes it look like you can buy anybody at all. I'm not saying it cannot happen. But it also gives conclusion and it's not the right thing to do. I say I'm shocked. Yes. I was also surprised. I was surprised because I felt according to media for an bloggers and who share the way the documents go, way the no the one fact marriage certificate there was no picture cry they called the dance here no sound some way there was no picture nothing to show this one is married if ye die po ya mfa bibia kra ankokyere se fie die ni se sa be man ko hobi o say man ko hobi but minua kwa metanko specifically said that onim se kwa bia so enya no wan say judge beka say e man mi enu nyina anye kuna this morning before the judgment came out.
Odo Broni be kula. Pastor say they be can say case dey be out no. Odo Broni kula be ho wa. The original money host. Oh, enya wan say Odo Broni be kuna. Oh, enye say me ntimi nkasa ba kono ye nware no say me ntimi nkasa. Oh baby. Say here no is to take care away me boy. So on ka ho. Aha ma me see pay dey me ma follow dey enya me wan wato. Obeye kuna ni. Obeye. Ai.
I don't know more common crown. Odo Broni we be adi. And now enya kuna. Na me bara say. Adiana man na ku won ho de adiana nkasa no. Odo Broni we be adi. And anyway enya kuna.
The international money host. Fine. Why? Oh, me to me the enya me nwanwa. Okay. Enya me nwanwa. Say ya kasi Odo Broni nye kuna ni oh enya me nwanwa. Na me who professor
before the judgment came out. So is it that these days we can actually know judgments before judgments are read? Because proceedings no bloggers ne man who proceedings they koi. Na sa utie proceedings no from the bloggers ne dia. That shouldn't have been the case. If that was what it is, that shouldn't have been the case. And my brain wetitibini. Please, that's also neither here or there. Me mama no be the hell. And money pan me mama ba. That doesn't also mean so say nipa no so yes say adwuma na e from so because as I said, the only person who can really tell nipa na we free mu. So dem tell ha. Because obi tumi kwadi obi aware e boso a. Oba na wo ti aware ho no, ye fi wo so ye ma wonko. And oba bi so ti aware ho ya aware bone. Ono so betimi na dwen so onko. Ono so a onware papa. Or body brab onko because of so sika wenya ne fame bia wenya. What I say? Ni sika bia wenya ne fame bia wenya. If you cannot prove somebody's certificate and the other person was also traditionally married could not bring anybody to testify that I was there 2010 when the marriage went on there, there's a problem with the judgment. If there was nobody there to prove and the person who said who couldn't even say he was there or give proof of the marriage, and if a marriage certificate also had just one signature, trouble day. There's more to it than just what happened in the judgment that is out. I'll say I just pray if the judge is a woman. She is. Fortunately or unfortunately, or your bar, But sometimes maybe I know his lordship Yaa Brefo Chief Justice Okwa Parliament here to na no say atai o man 70 years. Nese wo book mo o man 70 years because no ehu aka no what 10 de ba abrante de oye no a wo suro say so o man 10 years and 15 years o ya abrante obekwa asan aba wo ba ebe yo ba no Justice Brefo no hu oni na busuafo nti wan ha no akwa hwe o ma kira kwan na bia wa ye o mo bone nti mama 70 koko wu ho na asamba o body anasa o ghost ntumi be me hwe be do 70 so utumi kura pia o be ba na me kura me free according to a judge. What you say? So it was not based on what he thought was the right thing, but based on what he thought on his feelings or how he felt at that moment. So you might not know who actually sat on the case and why the person did it that way. You might not know. Because obi or a third wife, second wife, obi also ebia ono so continue obi de ho ana obi de no ono na wo ana bibinti. I'm not saying that is what it is. I am not saying that is what it is. I'm only using one judgment by Onwan and Samawaka at Parliament to say that sometimes if that is what it is, it means they can because judge you are the pain. What they obia or your crop for the anymore I have a man by 1 million years. Especially in 2 cities shopping. Without actually looking at the merits of the case. But your minimum and maximum sentence. Into one maximum ni nyina so e bia na nka nipa na first time offender so to me man minimum na amfimfim o hwe how a nipa na plead guilty na based on that obeka so ono e plead ya when waste court time nti mama o say ko but because e bia bibi sa ato no penti o to me twama wa odwuno na nyam na plead guilty anka me se man waste time tim ka de hummobo kakra mesu kura po aye so hummobo ya ye mfimi what you say. But the Etiabiano, I believe in peace. I believe in jojoing. I believe both women should have been allowed to deal with the issue. And I busuya for noa a year to pack because a maufi a busuya maum could have sat them down to deal with this matter without it going to court because case ne. Edinsen bebre pia ne yenim falumba this particular case edinsen bebre ne bebre so asua nyansa efrim titiri ne mema no omo pema bebiribe no ene ye ma ya ware a ebia se ebinti yesu so besua bibi afrim usu besua bibi de afrim so what ya ware ase na ukura certificate se sa na asem ne tia eno enye enough to say ukra certificate nti asem say ba when obenya utie didim according to the judgment certificate is just a mere paper if the certificate is genuine if it is genuine it's just a mere paper according to the judgment matikra say lawyer say because if you abandon your marriage for some years it's like I don't know what that means and who determines abandonment. If I decide to come home to come and visit my husband, and my husband doesn't allow me to come home, or excuse mamia, am I the one who has abandoned the marriage, or the person involved has decided to make me abandon the marriage? Yanjuni whom you know, me say maware na mesme besra me kunu. Na me kunu ma me excuses. Oh, me kwa ma ya me kwa ha. Ade chimete ha ochina me kwa efie no kra say me ye ne ye o de wo ba kra ya akotena ha na me ba ho o de eno no me na ma abande ana se nipa no na ama me kwan ma abande na nipa no na ma me looking like me ma abandon. We should look at it holistically and found not because I'm a woman, because it involves two women a family who because me oba and now we beka say I be our warranty ukra certificate nti no, because my first marriage if you are worried. And I was okay with it. The man was not ready to marry two. No, you're not just about me, no, but no, Asantini. Excuse my French. Asantifono don't want to member no more pay court or same. Or pefia worry, and yes, be or per se or worry me, no, obi or horse alone himself in Pranatrinity. One man should be ochina ko fast man na ko wo ba bia ko fast man ba nti oye fia ware na asa na wayi nani oh dem chen na wayi nani but I was okay with that. What I say because I'm hard working, believe you me wo coffee it was I think 2 months October November, yeah 2 months na ye twaba 2004 abato na mo takrade. I was in charge of the Western region correspondent na me tuka me jame ba ho me twim enufuso me ja no ho na me nam me ba najo and I've been like this since me kwa America I was doing delivery me tuka napa me sware no nsia in fact earlier than 6 because I don't play with my exercise me my exercise we ye aduane sikam me tuka napa me ba nwumre no wotwe me tu anapa me ba nwumre no wotwe because my rent was about $2,000 bills in come. Yeah, sometimes you have to even beg me say akofie. Oh, let me tell you. So I naturally wouldn't even depend on a man to say I'm depending on a man's property or I'm depending on and I probably would fight. That's so I'm only trying to establish something so it doesn't look like because I have certificates I'm doing this or I don't have certificates I'm doing that. I'm just sharing my thoughts. And judgment ba utumi kire wadwe fam. Ultimate kire madwe edwada na ya kire ne yi because every judgment becomes a precedence that you can use to file your case. If there's any other case that looks or has a similarity that looks like that, na o file out to me the no your case say according to so and so in this judgment, this is what happened. Me there my we will go into it. We will delve into it. We need to speak to lawyers, local lawyers and foreign lawyers. We need to see the judgment because we are or try the judgment. So go into details. No, will tell you exactly why a case went this way or that way. And unyam pia, to meet the be pia kran one the better exactly why your corn say. Also to produce offspring. Also says the judge's decision was the right decision. I want to understand why. I'm not saying it wasn't. Awokra, I can't say it wasn't. I just want to understand why. My point is, if somebody had a marriage certificate and another did not have one, and the other did not, so I am saying, say baako kura certificate na baako efia ware no wanya dance for, but certificate no yes signature baako pe na wo so. Enti ye susu say bi kura nya papa. Na de ono so dia dance ye de fie de ne be dia dance a wanya obi anyina mama no. Ya kan mienu na abom say mu mienu na nkoye kuna. E ho na me kan say mente ase ye papa. O te ase sa na tie unless the judgment comes out well. Judge ne ntro ye ma ye hunu de esi ye. At the kronti or take it that stand. So that I just want to understand the whole thing and get because how should a marriage certificate look like in Germany? First question. What I say? So now both women are married to one man. Enti ye fia warrior na waji ni mienu atum say ye fia warrior enti wo mienu na akwaye kuna. Ana asumdwe enti munkwaye kuna mbom. I just want to get it. Say obi the certificate ni ye hu signature ba ko enti enya papa. Ba ko no so ono so de no anya dance for nipa okodi dance e kire say no ni obi. Ba on de watese ye ware no. Eno ni ye gina ni mienu so aka say ni mienu nti mu mienu na ya awafo nti munkwa ware ana. Munkwaye kuna ana. I feel the judge's decision will empower side chicks. No, it's not necessarily so. If truly she was married with Yaa Brefo, na ebia na certificate na Akosua Serwaa one yes certificate original. Because you and I know some abroche Yaa Brefo ne nkrata 70 bibia to me see. E ho nsem ne ya na edo so kakra. Se sa na tia na meti oti de meti ase se sa na tia na ate ase say inti na maame ne ana judge no decide so be asem ni say because se no kure se nipa no ye fia ware na enye obi dance ni am media dance trodo say pictures ni me niema ni ye ware mo fie busumi say ni ye ware me ha ni ye ware me nipa wo simesi obenti o na se nipa obenti o simesi o mu nyina enti ase de a something must prove. If there was nothing like that and the certificate too had just one signature, then both of them, if that is what it is, cannot be called wives. It is about certificate nya papa na ne fie aware de no wo ho ne yankogu no a ono ye fie aware ni enti nipa ne betimi atwempena won chen enya aware fofra ka ho ne na ya te ase se be obi abe safe o te ase se be ya obi abe safe. And nobody will just sit somewhere and say, then if you're a side chick, you have rights. Because she might not be a side chick. She might be legally or legitimately married to. But there should be a judgment. No? My judge, say, when into Mrs. Odo Broni, you are when into Mrs. Akosua Serwaa share name court to the other or castle, and I said, in crack, I know the Germany by and your papa. Because you are called German embassy, and I am a German judge, and a German lawyer, and a German certified registrar. Yeah, ma quite to me Emma certificate. I be dear dance here say certificate here the buy German certificate nipa mienu na sign na papa. Because your certificate cannot be the same as somebody's own outside. You cannot assume that because nipa mienu na warranty signatures nipa mienu signature na ese baso. You cannot assume because Ghana hakwa worry sign it usually they give the certificate to the woman self. Well, I all by fancy and makes it look like na worry here into yenti. Enti omu we are normal the certificate na mo ba na say o certificate ni but a certificate nya me certificate a certificate ni but they give it to the woman. What I say? So those are the questions that why is Ghanaians don't think about themselves. You knew who say, why not? Mawario. Semina I'll be some Mawaria, Mawari, part of the certificate, meet him the actual. I'm Mawari. Missumu was advocate. Mawari, and it's not any bako. They have a right to. And I won't worry, so I won't let's own to me to the wardrobe somehow because and yet ni papa no be na dress on worry. Well, be ho be na dress on worry be a romance of penny. Romance of and I say none. But no so interest to me too for. I worry for now to me and so wardrobe. I know your casafine. And only so interest marriage in Ghana is not safe. That's not it. That's not it. It's supposed to be. I say I relax, I did go is which one? Also marriage is not about certificate. It is about certificate. It is about certificate. Mr. Ukra certificate a to me pa. That is what it's supposed to be. Me jitum say warrior and yet so warrior so worry like niema bebre and the chest so worry. Uno kunote mo dabum mo nam mo mukra na you know I mean but certificate is very important. Marriage is about certificate. Utumi ye fear warrior. But a fear warrior no as bibia to me see. As a woman you are not safe. Because I ain't there no uye fear warrior ni awari ni pa miensa. Now unu ukunu nete. Na ya mo amane so awari mienu aka ho. Unim. Ba onu nete ye japade a. Ofri mu a woni mienu no beka ho ache wa bra wo muti ba bia wo emmeboa wo mamo ware ya na say they were not part of the process because when you are married sometimes you give your all. Meka you give your all a musika eya wo se ware odo no ho no musika ye musika enti eto na bi kura bi oba no na wo sika a wo de bo abema ama na pepega because sometimes se bema oba wo sika na bema ni sika ya na is some way and bema jina ye some way so you want to help your man to get to a level where he will be a man to take over and be the man of the house. And sometimes you would want to support in any way that you can to get him up to a level to be able to manage the home like a man. And if a fear warrior na wo yes na say bia wo twempena mienu won chen wakoye mari mienu ho adie wa bra wonim enti enne me call a trek na oshoba ne fie one na ewo one mienu na ewo wo so te ho nim se wo nkwa ne aye ho ade a wote a eda ba ma ne beto no e ma ne mienu e beka ho ne wo okunu ejapade mu chefa enso na wo ne okunu na abra na wo kura na bia wo de usika bo a ba ma no e ma ne yes a ejapade no. Because sometimes women, when you are too much in love, or men when they are too much in love, or more correct stars as say Mr. and Mrs. Tell the big grand Mr. and Mrs. Ye to me my bearman the bearman who grab it me a register for a woman or babbit me for which I quite register as I say Munina Mudi Busika sit down and says what to show. No, I register. It's winning. BBC Munina Moche. And so class certificate it prevents any other woman coming close to that. And certificates in crown and yet enough say bia oh kwatasa say I try Mr. and Mrs. It's not enough because anybody at all can be Mr. and Mrs. Because a muja warrior, no worry about for that woman becomes another Mrs. Brefo. So my brother's wife can decide to come and say Mrs. Brefo ejapade na mejapade because I'm also Mrs. Brefo. Nti so hwe ye tro mato bibia ya tro na Yaa Brefo danso. Mr. Kwame danso. Ye me nu na di wo so. What did they mean? Say it tells that the thing is for both of us. Ochnebi and for how be ama. Do you get what I'm? Yes. So certificate is very important, and when you have it, ukra to me bi, ukra certificates na ukra to me bi. But yes, in America says ya nhwe ye na de asi say ye ntumi improve certificates na ekro ba na nye papa. Dia Kamia said na ye making nonsense of that certificate na ekura ye no. Say ye ntumi improve say nye papa. Kamia said na certificate na ekura ye nyina na nye emfa so bi eni so. Ehun hia say obekwa akọ certificate. Because only be ma bobra. The o wan so oba no. Ana the o wan so oba na eba no. Wo dia. Na emom de oba ya ma ya aka ho no. Mo dia. Emfa ho ni nipa kro de ni sika ye. Our ejaya ba chefa wom both sides nipa ne free mu a ye chichem se nipa na anya wo kra court be hwe me ye chichem ma de oyo yire na nya bi ne manya bi de oyo yire nya bi ma ne manya bi side check nka ho de oyo side check wom one ne wom ma ne ma be nya bi ba do ba ne de wu nya bi o ti ase oba ne de wu nya bi oba no wu ye side check wo ma be nya bi ba wu nya bi. But say if you worry there, na mumienu ana miensa na ya ware mu fie dia a mu nyina mu wo mu chefa e wo de nipa ne ye bra mu hyiaye. It is when you marry the person, whatever the person did after becomes something that you legitimately have a right or a stake in it, not before. And yet the na me once so oba e mesimi dan dadade a wonka ho. But ye toya na me toya after no. Se me no oti a me nya adwuma po na msika nka ho bia ma ye aduane ama wadi. Me hwa akoda bia na me ye bibi ma unya ho koye adwuma ma unya sika de ye. Enti ye be ma mu chefa kakra. What dem che enti ukra certificate hunya. Uni obi ani twaka. Uni obi ani ye chempe. Enti me dem me try judgment no maka bi. I'm really interested in it. I really want to understand. I really want to get it. I don't have a problem. I've said it and said it over and over. Both of them doing kuna. Many problem with it because at a point, look my friend Nedo, but me do there. Utumi sure be dum. What I say? Utumi sure be dum any like obi to me no trim plan the more than so now. Like and the person really loves you, and that's the truth. Because you can love two men or two women at the same time, differently. Yes. You can love two men or two women at the same time differently. And a genuine love, and last two. You can love two men or women differently at the same time. And you just cannot let go any of them too. Because any one of them would jai bakwa ebe how in a way. What I say? Because obi to me e kwatwe mpena be ka kire na yire say ne mpena ne jaya na no refere ho no o wan hwa akobode yire amane say osimesi e jaya mi o menya broken heart so na open yire no nye so we jaya odo no pa enso odo mpena ne differently because obi an said the oye ne niam ne de odo wo nipa ne ho. It does happen. Yes, it does happen. It does happen. Yeah. It does happen. Mami Fancy, I think I'm talking plenty. I've made my point. And you better one common so jwada. I mean, we will need to delve into it. We would have to continue, get the whole thing, know where it's going to, and the Akosua. Why? All right. I thank all of you. I needed to share my thoughts. It's a trending issue, and sometimes you need to share your thoughts. Until you're trying full judgment in Piabonte, and they will know exactly what went into it. All right. Ciao.